Welcome everyone who may come across this video. Happy Thursday to you all. For those that may come across this live, I go by the name of Bonafide Queen Bree. Bonafide Queen Bree. You can call me Queen Bree. Either or is fine with me. Recently, I did a short live, and I was talking about the spirit of discouragement, the spirit of fear, and just those low frequencies that a lot of people experience. Hello, good folks. For those that are tuning in, I would greatly appreciate it. I would greatly appreciate it, and I will be very happy if you, say something. Thank you very much. Hello, the individual with the name that's spelled FATIMEDUBOVA 2262. Hi, welcome everybody. Thank you, darling. Looks like your name is in a different language, but I appreciate the compliment. Thank you very much. What's up, y'all? How's everybody doing? I have a few things that I want to get off of my chest, or that I want to speak about. I'm really trying to feel the vibe. I want to become aware of what the world is talking about, and what the community is talking about, and what y'all are feeling. In Albanian. Oh, you're Albanian. Okay. That's cool. So I would like to know what everybody is feeling. How are you feeling? How are you living? How are you doing? You know? Um in a previous short live that I that I created, I was talking about, those lower frequencies and things, and I was also talking about, I wanted to talk about spirituality and how it's very important in relationships. My belief and my feelings are that, when you're in union with someone, and when you're in a committed, devoted relationship with your significant other, I feel as though, your spirituality, being spiritually grounded, and having God as the base of the foundation, I feel as though you would have an advantage. Now, I come from a very spiritual and religious background, so that's kind of like a given for me, where um, I was raised in a certain type of way. I was raised in a church. I was raised in, what we would consider the Christian faith. I was speaking with a brother, and he was expressing to me, and this was really just a random brother, just who came up to me and was expressing to me how, you know, his Christian faith and his faith in Jesus, how it changed him and how it saved him. So I felt as though it's a beautiful thing, and it's a great thing when you can witness or minister to someone and tell them how whatever your practice is, that it liberates you, that it brings you peace, or if it makes you a better person. I think that that's something that we all should really use as evidence, right? That we should use as pointers, if you will, kind of like indicators as to what we're doing. If what we are doing is right, if you are on a spiritual path, or if you are spiritually inclined, if you are spiritually grounded, or if you are like myself, are studying different spiritual systems, right? A lot of times you'll know if the path that you're on, if it's the right path, when, hi Rosie, hello Rosie, how you doing? I'm pooping and it burns. That's disgusting. You might want to go see a MD for that. David Weiss, hi David Weiss, how you doing? How everybody doing? Um, but what I would encourage you is just try to keep it clean in this live. And while we are communicating and communing and exchanging energies. I don't mind the humor. I have a great sense of humor. It's just I want to request that you just keep it clean. My name is Alora. Oh, okay. Hi, Alora. That's a pretty name. And hi, Jenny Thompson. They laughing. It's all good. I have a sense of humor too. But if you're pooping and it's burning, you probably need to do a cleanse. Something might be raw. You may need to, you might need some chlorophyll and some, uh, there's a many different things that you can use for that. You might need what do you call it? Some calming or cooling herbs, the spices, the irritable bowel syndrome, all of those things that can cause you to have that type of situation going on. And to be honest, I wouldn't share that with anyone. I definitely wouldn't share that with the world. So my name is Zanesia. Is it Zanisha or is it Zanesia? That's pretty. Okay, y'all have some pretty names. I love pretty and unique names. I love that. As far as spirituality, I love your hair. It's so cool. Thank you, darling. I appreciate that. um, as far as spirituality go, and my thoughts about spirituality, right, and being in sacred union is like when you are in a relationship with someone, and when all else fails or things are breaking bad and things aren't going your way, and you go through the highs and lows of life and the ebb and flow, right? Because we experience a lot of the beautiful things and the beautiful aspects of life, our relationships, our experiences, all of those things. And then we experience the not so feel good things, the things that would be considered undesirable circumstances or outcomes. And in relationship, there's always like, that conflict. It can definitely come about. So, oh, thank you. My crystals. I buy my crystals from everywhere, but usually it's from a ethnic store or a spiritual store is where I get my crystals from. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. I love my crystals too. But as far as yeah, your spiritual foundation and being spiritually grounded and having that to influence your relationship when all else fails, and when things get bad, even on your own as an individual, and not even being in a sacred relationship or relationship with your divine partner, um, it's always encouraged. It was encouraged to me, and I would encourage folks to always fall back on, and to depend on your spirituality. You know, they say go within. Um, that whole meditation thing. There's just certain things that are good tools in a relationship, in a union, in a marriage, you know, things such as meditating, grounding. I think that's a beautiful thing when you can ground, get in some grass, sit in the grass, when you can meditate with your partner, wherever that is, meditating in the form of, um, sitting in a lotus position, right? Oh, thank you. Let me go back to your name because your screen name is David Weiss. Huh. Mm. Oh, Alora, that's right. Thank you, Alora. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. Um, so having something to fall back on when everything is not like in its when you're not feeling your desired circumstances, and when everything is not feeling pretty and lovely, it's important that we have something. We're spiritually grounded as something to fall back on. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate the love, especially with all of the negativity and the confusion, chaos, and the manipulation, the lower frequencies of fear, and all of those things that, a lot of people are experiencing. And even being able to um, discern and recognize when people are trying to project that onto other people to project the spirits of discouragement or fear, right? When you know who you are, when you are, you know, when you stand firm in your convictions, it's not so easy to be swayed or dismayed, right? You kind of recognize it, but it's like, like we used to say back in the day, pump the brakes. I'm gonna do this over here. You stay over there, I'm gonna stay over here, and then it's all good. Um, but a lot of people are experiencing that, the adversities, the lower frequencies, the fear, um, the discouragement, all of the different struggles, the things that people say in silence, the suffering in silence, the things that people can't express to other people, not having people to talk to about what it is that they're going through or what is going on in their world, um, and then all of the chaos and the madness, right? So as far as being in relationship with someone who can who can help keep you spiritually grounded and keep you connected to God. I think that it's very important that when people are choosing people, specifically going back on what me and the brother was talking about, I think that he was pretty much on the right path, and saying, he wants to work with his significant other to see if he can bring her, to that higher level of spirituality with him and being spiritually grounded. Um, you can't, if you can't be, if you can't be in union with someone who is spiritually grounded in something or is interested in some spiritual form, spiritual system or whatever, I wouldn't encourage anyone to, pursue that individual seriously, because yeah, we're in this incarnation and in a physical form, but once we leave, everything that we do is spiritual. I appreciate that. The person with on the last numbers 2262. Appreciate you. I appreciate all the love you guys sharing with me. Um, where do I live? That's that's interesting. So you would have to go back and watch my content and things to find out where I live at. So that's some homework for you. So I wouldn't advise, I'm not saying people should be like religious and things. I'm not saying that. I think that people should believe in a higher power, because we are because we are an extension of the Most High. We are an extension of the Creator. We are little creators to the Supreme God, or the Creator. And if people are not on the same page spiritually, then that just creates instability, right? I appreciate the feedback, you guys. So yeah, it creates instability. Um, and then also, like, wanting to be in union with someone who absolutely supports you. So if you are focused somewhere in your spirituality, and even if Jesus is the one who, one feels as though is liberating that person, bringing them salvation or peace, you know, when you're in a so-called union or trying to be in union with someone, and even someone that you may have had children with, but they're not supporting you in that, then it's like, make it make sense. How is that actually going to work, right? I just don't see that that's going to be a balanced, sacred union. So definitely choosing people who are going to support you in whatever it is that you're doing, and what is more important than your spirituality or God. Not saying that life is perfect, or that we're perfect, or that even our spiritual journey is perfect, because we're very much human. We're very much in this physical incarnation, right? So there's a million things that we can be experiencing. This is just the absolute truth. But it's very important, especially during these unprecedented times, where there's Iran and the war that's going on, and how everything that's being shared is about Iran, but then they talk about the, okay, thank you. They talk about the Epstein files, and they're constantly talking about the Epstein files and how this individual was a sick, sinister individual. This individual wanted to plant his seed and create a whole society full of his progeny, if you will. He wanted to replicate himself. Then they talked about how he wanted to clone individuals. He wanted to clone his progeny and things. This is absolute insanity. Then they talked about I came across some other information where he was accused of hunting black folks on his island, and he had a code word for it. So when we talk about people who are supposed to be considered elitists, who in my eyes are not elitists, just because someone may have received a plaque that says elite, or someone may call themselves elite, or what they're doing elite, doesn't mean that we all agree with it, right? um just like I said, these individuals in certain positions who consider themselves a certain level of importance, maybe to the people that they can influence, but sometimes some of us can see right through some people, and we call bullshit. you know I think that some people have certain powers and certain abilities, and money, having a lot of money, can get you a certain level of power, and people abuse that power. But then if they do have a extreme dark side, or if they are the likeness of their father, which is the devil, then they would express that with the resources that they have, right? So with all of this craziness and insanity going on, definitely having something to be spiritually grounded in, right? And not swaying from that, or letting someone, uh, you know, discourage you from whatever it is that you're doing, even if it's someone that you have children with. It's like, either you're going to meet me where I'm at, and we're going to work this thing out, and we're going to do it together, and we're going to continue to build one another, because that is the intention. And that's what, being in relationships, even if it is a sacred union, but relationships is supposed to be a give and take. It's supposed to be something that is supposed to build both parties involved, or all parties involved. A fair exchange is not a robbery. So if it's not building you, then it's setting you back, and is going to influence things in your life that's going to have you going backwards. If you are in any situation or any relationship with someone who is taking you away from God, I assure you that that is a red flag. And again, I'm not going to preach perfection, because I never said that I was perfect. I don't want to give off the illusion of perfectionism. I think that we all just try to do our best, but um, never, trying to be perfect. But there are certain standards and certain ways that we should try to move in, definitely. So I want to switch gears, and I want to talk about something that's been on my heart, and something that's been on my mind as it relates to community, and all of the craziness and the madness that happens in our communities, that a lot of us absolutely ignore, and a lot of us feel as though we should give each other passes for certain things. And the black community, there is a lot of madness that takes place, and you know I have witnessed a lot of things that made my head swim. So when I talk about the whole accountability thing, when I talk about the whole accountability thing, and I talk about the love that I have for our people. Now, I love good people, and I always say that, because when I talk about the black community, I just don't want people to get offended. I know some people will say, "Who cares what people think?" Like, talk your ish. And I mean, I absolutely get that, but the way that I was raised, I was raised in a very diverse place, and I build relationships and friendships with just about any and everybody. So I just want to say that while I'm talking about, the empowerment of our people and, what I am concerned with, the eliminating of one another, the violence and the craziness that is taking place is very disheartening, and it's sad. It's saddening. It's very saddening. So there's this thing in our community when, people, they like to say, don't snitch and don't do that. And there's these codes or whatever. And I understand that to a certain extent. But I just want to say that if somebody is out of line or if they are out of bounds and they're doing something that they have no business doing, and I'm going to tell you right now, if they're doing something to the extent of trying to eliminate someone else or trying to harm someone else or trying to hurt someone else, don't try to use us having the same skin color or looking alike or saying I'm black and that um I'm supposed to be okay with it, because I absolutely am not. And I have a problem with people who do demonic things, who do devilish things. I have a problem with that. So we talk about, you know, black love, and we talk about the empowerment of our people, and we talk about all of these good and beautiful things, as far as the unity and the promotion of unity in our community. But we don't talk about holding each other accountable for some of the most demonic, disgusting things that people in our community are engaging in. It's like all of these, especially the young folks, they are out here messing over each other like it's open season and like it's a sport, and they don't think it's anything wrong with it, but it's absolutely mental insanity. It's absolutely it's absolutely uh a psychopathic nature. And then they have this code of don't say nothing, and then everybody is supposed to be okay with it. I'm not going to be okay with it. And quite frankly, if I'm witnessing someone doing such things, in my eyes, I'm that type of individual that I'm probably going to intervene or try to address it because it's wrong. So it's kind of like that see something, say something thing. But in our community, it's, oh, you see something, you go walk the other way, and it's, you act like nothing ever happened because we all need to mind our business. When does the eliminating of one another become everybody's business? And why does it always have to be on a hush or on to the next thing and the next day, and we're going about business as if nothing ever happened? So these youngsters, they continue the cycle, they eliminate one another, and then what do people in our community do? We do this, they repeat the same cycle. They either they handle their remains however they handle their remains, and I hate to say it in such a way, but that's what it is. I have to say it like that because there's different ways that people handle their remains, right? When we're talking about the deletion of one another, right? And that's just me trying to say it in the sweetest of ways, because there's proper terms for what I'm talking about. So they'll eliminate one another, and then they'll put some people in some parts of the culture, they'll put them on a shirt, and then they'll, have the eating time celebration or whatever. Then they, put the individual away, and then it's back to life as usual. But black people want, what I am observing and witnessing is people in our community who want people to not only accept but be quiet about the the evil that people are witnessing. And I just want to let people know that I'm not the individual who is going to see the evils and then just act like I don't see it, because then I will be allowed to say that I love black people, right? Yes, I am excited for Michael's movie, Mr. Abasi. I'm back. Hey, 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 hey. Um, so yeah, right now I'm talking about I'm talking about one of the things that's been on my mind is the evils that take place in the community, but more specifically, the Black community, because obviously I relate to that, and I witness certain things. I've observed certain things, and I just wanted to speak on some things that I feel as though it's very oxymoronic and is very hypocritical, and it needs to stop. You know, don't say, in other words, to another person that is Black, say, I'm supposed to get a pass for whatever I've done because I am Black, but what you're doing is absolutely wrong, or it's ungodly, or it's evil. So I don't dwell in evil. I don't hang around and participate in things that are evil or considered dark. So, if I'm observing or witnessing something that is, best believe either I'm going to address it or I'm going to contact the individual who can. That's how I feel. So, I just challenge Black folks that, we need to do better. Stop glorifying the street mentality. That shit is old and it's played out and it's really not getting us anywhere. They talk about codes and things. How about we keep certain codes of, certain sacred things and things that we are creating that's going to help, better our communities and to elevate us as a people, and then keep a code of keeping it amongst ourselves, and then having a certain type of way to communicate with other people that may not be in our direct vicinity or community with those other people, because there are certain leaders in other far off areas, just like Michael Jackson with vitiligo. And everyone said, you bleach your skin, but poor Michael said, skin disease, vitiligo. Michael said, I am proud to be Black. Yeah, he did. He was proud to be Black. Cat Williams, I laugh because I love Cat Williams. He's one of my favorite comedians, but he was saying, he was like, oh, excuse my language, but I'm just reiterating it in a humorous way. He was like, F Michael, and I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. I love Michael Jackson, right? He was like, he forgot he was Black. He forgot he was Black, but no, he didn't forget that he was Black. I think that Michael, like a lot of us, was just a product of his environment as it relates to the adversities that he had and the undesirable circumstances that he had. Now, of course, I can't speak for Michael, as because he's transitioned. I'm just saying, on the outside looking in and observing that, that's what I think. I think that he was a product of his environment, and people may say, well, what do you mean by that? Well, he grew up in an environment that was predominantly Black, but then um, he dealt with challenges that he experienced in his childhood, which could have led to the progression, the presence of dis-ease, and then the progression of that dis-ease, and then him being in Hollywood, where Hollywood have a prominence of a certain type of people, and then trying to, the reality that a lot of us tend to forget, that a lot of people that are in these positions of celebrity, they tend to like to be of the likeness of the people that they are around, the people that are paying them, and the people who they are in business with. So yeah, I don't think that Michael intentionally, like, I don't think that he forgot that he was Black, especially not, when he went to Africa, and he has so much business in Africa, and he gave so much charity to Africa, and then he made that song. All I'm trying to say is that they don't really care about us. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Remember that? I love that. So I love Michael, and he definitely didn't forget that he was Black. Just because his skin color was the color that it was. Um, I feel as though, as it relates to Michael Jackson, it's just like a lot of people that are negative. They just want to find a reason to hate on somebody, because they may be different from them. They call the man everything except for a child of God. So God rest his soul. I love Michael Jackson. I will always be a fan of Michael. Woo! That almost made me emotional, because I remember when he passed away. I was 19, and I'm giving my age here, but that's all good. It's all good because I age like fine wine. But anyway, I remember how sad I was. I was actually on the strip with two of my brothers, and we were near the Mandalay Bay when we got the news, and I just remember being so heartbroken. I was so heartbroken. Oh my God, I was so sad. And just like, you know how you relive certain memories and you think about certain things, you can almost feel that same emotion that you felt then. That's kind of how I feel right now, and forever will forever be a Michael Jackson fan. So yeah, him and a lot of other people, Whitney Houston, um, um, what's our sister name that recently passed away? Angie Stone, of course, D'Angelo. I love celebrities, but I also love good people. I don't love celebrities because they have money. I more so fall in love with people or love them for how they make me feel. That's how I am. Um, Michael wanted to bleach to white and did. Yeah, he probably did because he has skin patches. So with the whole celebrity and the perfectionism of um, trying to live up to a certain standard or trying to meet a certain image. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, show me three people watching you, but I'll say no. He did not. If you really want to know, Mr. Abassi is commenting. You're here, Laura, and then OEJEJEDH is watching. So all of you guys are commenting. Um, People are coming in and they're going out, but the whole point of this live is for me to uh to share a message. When I do my lives, that's going to be my intention, to share a message. I greatly appreciate the interactions from people, but at the end of the day, I just want to make myself clear that when I do these lives, the my primary goal is going to be, excuse me, my primary goal is going to be so that I can share whatever was on my mind, especially when I know that we're in a time that, um, a lot of these so-called elitists, which I don't necessarily call them elitists. I'm only using that verbiage because, or that term, because people like to give people supreme titles that didn't earn it, and supreme titles that they want to put them on a certain pedestal. And I don't put just anybody on a pedestal. The only thing or people that I put on a pedestal is going to be, myself, the most high, my ancestors, and my parents or my loved ones. I don't necessarily put people on a pedestal. I like to celebrate people. But all of that elitist and, oh, this and that and all that, it's like, you got to miss me with that, because people are flawed in ways, and they do unacceptable things, and then they call themselves some type of elitist and elites. There's a lot of things that are not accounted for, and I have a problem with that. So my thing is, I would tell them, just stop already, because you're embarrassing yourself, and quite frankly, it's annoying. um where was I? Oh, back to the with me sharing lives and sharing online and things like that. These people who want to, um the freedom of speech is being muffled, is being controlled, and is being handled. um what else? People trying to silence individuals who are telling the truth, people that they call conspiracy theorists. They'll say that that their findings or what they're doing as far as their research is a lie. So when people are telling the truth, they try to silence them. They try to do everything in their power to try to prevent what they're doing, how they're trying to progress, or even the messages or the content that they create. They try to put a halt to it, or they try to prevent it from being shared. Now, and I know somebody personally who I love dearly who that is happening to as we speak, and it has happened previously. So if it's not true, then why are people going above and beyond to try to silence certain people? Why not just let it ride? Why not just let it, be shared, and then let people figure out what they want to choose, and what they want to accept as truth, and what they want to leave as a fallacy, if you will. Let me see. Let me see what they're talking about. Oh my God. Oh my God. Whoa. So some of the comments are hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious, but I don't care to, make certain people famous. Um or even give an energy to it is what I'm trying to say. But I appreciate the positive good energy. It's always intentions of peace, love, joy, positivity, gratitude, high frequencies. Even though some things should be addressed. So yeah, you know, the whole mind control, the mass mind control that's not only taking place in this nation but all over the world, right? And then people who are being puppeted by a puppet master, or whether that's on a, on a large level, or somebody that's in the direct vicinity as them, that's really not that prominent, really not that important, but they're handling them and they're influencing how they're moving and how, um, what they're doing and how they are thinking and all of the above, right? People have puppet masters, and their puppet masters, sometimes that puppet master wants people who speak the truth to be silent, and they have a problem when people who speak truth, or people who are powerful, they have a problem when they speak, when they express themselves, or when they share certain messages. Just like I was saying before in a previous upload, how people they purposely try to send people to distract people, to try to discourage people, right? And then that leads me to my next point of, people, pretty much in general, but especially those in our community who say, oh, everyone who did this in our community, or this powerful person or that powerful person, everybody that tried to do A through Z, they ended up deleting them, or they ended up trying to destroy them, or all of these things. And people speak in a way that is very disempowering and is very discouraging. Now, I'm the type of person, I'm the type of woman that I don't want people around me that wants to try to discourage me, or wants to try to, you know, um, move me from what it is that I'm trying to do. If you are the type of person that's going to let fear overcome you or overtake you, or whatever it is that you have going on is going to influence what you're doing, so that you cannot live out your purpose, and you're not being or trying to become in alignment for your divine assignment, then I would you know in the most humblest way request that people move around, because it is a distraction, because it is discouraging, it's an infiltration, and people become compromised, and then they begin to compromise the people that are around them. And I have a problem with it, and I absolutely, I don't have time for it. I don't have time for people who let their fear overcome them, and then they become so afraid of their enemy that they forget the work, or they become paralyzed or stuck in that fear. This is intentional. This is on purpose. The enemy comes and tries to, you know, uh, inflict fear or make people feel in such a way that they will not complete what it is that they're trying to do. And then also, the enemy will try to use fear so that people will not use their creativity to create. And that's very common, very common. So with all of the zombies and the puppets that are walking around, and the people with no backbone, and all of the individuals who, need somebody to tell them what to do, and they need somebody to tell them how to fall in formation and to get into the puppet master's alignment, getting in alignment with the puppet master knowingly and unknowingly, they need to move around and stay away from me. The only people that I want around me is strong individuals who have sovereignty and autonomy in mind and about their whole lives. Those are the only type of people that I want around me. Laura, you have a question. So again, I don't need, I've even said in some of my videos that I've uploaded, I don't need people who are weak minded and weak around me at all. Sometimes it's it's the it's on the it's just on the level of people being a liability. Are are you a asset or are you a liability? That's what it's coming to. And people let fear and the fear of their enemy or what these people are trying to do and all of the different the symbolism and the things that they say and the little puppets that they have to try to say and do different things to try to pump fear or to try to annoy or try to bring people's frequency down. This is all this is all intentional and it's all on purpose. And what really gets me is that people will unknowingly be doing it because of their level of consciousness, because they don't function at a higher level of consciousness. So what they do is they do some of the most childish and ignorant of things that is in the likeness of the enemy, right? And I don't have any time for it. Any I don't have any patience. So there's just some things that really need to be addressed, and there's some things that uh need to be refined in all of us, but especially when we're talking about community and building. Self accountability is becoming a thing of the past, it seems like. So I want to come to the point of, or the topic of, the importance of two parent households, the importance of two parent households, and you know how for the youngsters that may come across this video, just advising and letting them know that two parent households is going to be the standard and the way to go. And also, you know if no one told you, you should know that having children, trying to conceive just on the strength, or in having in your mind that that's what's going to keep a relationship, that's going to promote longevity and commitment, you're sadly mistaken. But always keeping in mind the importance of having two parent households. And they say that in this time America has very low birth rates. So, of course, always keeping in mind to elevate, to evolve, and to do the things that are going to be in the best interest of yourself and the success of yourself, so that you can be good for someone else. And then, I was having a conversation with some people before, and a lot of people, they agree, and they feel as though even if they're not doing their greatest, that they still have enough space or still have the capacity to be in a union with someone else. And then of course, both parties or whoever helping one another, which I absolutely agree with, because some people might say that may suggest that people be by themselves or whatever. And what I would say is that people should do what they want to do, because at the end of the day, I'm a very grown woman and I'm going to do what it is that I want to do. So whatever that we're doing, it's always encouraged that we do it in the most healthiest way, and then always choosing people of high quality, right? And people that obviously match your energy, your likeness, and your frequency. People, um, they are requiring certain things, certain standards and requirements that they cannot meet, and I don't think that's fair. Or they get mad, and it's like, how can you ask for something from someone else that you're not giving to yourself? So, of course, marriage, commitment, or even just, two-parent households, commitment, sacred union, longevity is always should always be the intention. And that is what I am encouraging for our community. So I just had a few things that I wanted to share, that I wanted to get off of my chest and out of my mind. And then, lastly, I want to say, um, to those people, they know who they are, that come across this video message, that are courageous soldiers, that are, never swayed or dismayed by, the attempts, tactic, wiles, and ways of someone that is an enemy, has the likeness of an enemy, an adversary or would be adversary, or someone who is opposing, right? But standing firm in your convictions. And I'm going to continue to reiterate and repeat that, because people play the game of the enemy knowingly and unknowingly. And sometimes, more times than not, it is something that is intentional to try to get you off track, to get you off path, and then you will be distracted or dismayed from, your from being in alignment for your divine assignment, or what it is that God will have you to do, your purpose. So no matter what, come what may, that you decide to continue doing whatever it is that you feel in your heart that you want to do. Um, because you know that, a lot of times that energy is coming anyway. So you might as well just, um, stick to truth and follow truth anyway, right? So it takes someone of a courageous soul and spirit, and it takes someone who is like a soldier to uh, to do certain things and to rise to a certain type of occasion. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of people that have a lot to say. There's a lot of people who have a lot of opinions. And no matter what it is that you're doing, that you are being authentic to who you are, that you are being yourself, and that you are staying in and walking in your power and your authority and whatever it is that you're doing, right? Especially when you're talking about truth. So that will be all for now. Sending much love to those who was sending me love in the chat. I appreciate you guys' presence, and I wish you much, much, much peace and blessings in this time.